Okay, now we're gonna open up these pieces and lay them on top of each other. But before we do open them up, we're gonna do something called clipping the curve. Whenever you have a curve, when you turn it inside out, just like with that point on the pillowcase, you're compressing more fabric into less space. So like right now there's a lot of fabric here, but when we turn it inside out, all that fabric will be like pressed together. So what we want to do is we want to clip little notches. So they're little V shapes that go up to but not through your line of stitching. And you want to be really careful. If you accidentally clip through your line of stitching, you need to go back and re-sew this seam at a little bit deeper seam allowance. So we're going to do that around where the curve is most.
How many do you do?
For this project, I do 3. It wouldn't hurt to do more, but I'm thinking about like, maybe I'll do one more up there. So 4. And then this is kind of difficult to press, but you're going to open this up and you're going to press the seam allowance to one side. I always do to the right. And what's kind of tricky about this is it's curved. If you have what is called a tailor's hand, that actually helps. It's a curved surface you can press on, but I kind of go up from this side to the middle on both sides. And then one thing I do is I check it on this side as well, because I want to make sure this seam is really nice and open. So, and that's why you don't go through the middle, because it gets crumpled up if you try to go the whole way through. But
can you show us the open seam?
So there's the open seam, and then mine is to the side. And if you get wrinkles in the side, that's easier because you just put down the side. And so you're going to do that for the mouthpiece and the face piece. Clip our curve. And this is true on any curve that's like this, like no matter what you're sewing. And often in clothing, you'll get pieces like this. Where this curve happens like this is usually around the arm or a pant leg or around the collar. But this is a good way to practice that clipping the curve without doing a big project. Once again, I'm gonna push that seam allowance to one side. Now, sometimes you butterfly and open up the seam allowance, but we don't do it on this one. And I will show you why here in a minute, because it creates a nice chance for you to interlock these two pieces of fabric. So now I'm gonna go from the face side and make sure that seam is really nice and opened up. And I noticed there, like my seam wasn't really opened up, and I was able to, by looking at the face side, there was like 1/8 of an inch folded over there. So now what you're gonna do, make sure you know which is your more curvy part, but you're gonna open them up and you're gonna put these pieces right sides together. And if you pressed your seam allowances going to the same size, when you put them opposite each other, you should be able to book your seam allowances. And I don't know if you can see right there, but basically I can match up the seam, and the two seam allowances are going opposite directions. So there's equal bulk around both sides. I put a pin right here where that one is, and then I go down to the bottom side and I repeat that process along the bottom. And then I go to the edges and I pin here and here. And here and here.